Shall we begin?
Welcome to the Happy MonsterCast. I'm your host, Scott Marchand Davis of Happy Monster Press.
Let's begin now.
This week on the Happy MonsterCast, a return to Legion of Liberty with a kidnap job. Previously on the Happy MonsterCast, the Continental Army has formed a squad of superhumans led by Elijah Allen, Master of Mind Control, including Invisible Assassin Artemis Crow, Adenoid, the Swampanoag Swamp Monster, Clara Washington, Super Soldier, and Nubbins McGregor, who can literally punch someone into a rat. The Legion of Liberty freed an enslaved teleporter from British-occupied Charleston, and now General Washington has a covert operation for them in New York City. All right, so, hey, very long delayed recap. So you have returned from Charleston, where you liberated the teleporting and gate opening slave Archimedes Lawton from his cruel master and recruited him into the Legion. So that means that Washington has a significant advantage in that he can at least move small numbers of troops very rapidly around all 13 colonies. So this is a major strategic win. And so he can get you over the course of a few hops up to New Jersey, where you meet up with Washington himself. And he calls you into the command tent. I have a highly confidential mission for your squad, Lieutenant Allen.
Okay, let's hear it.
My Copper Ring agents have determined that Prince William of Hanover, heir to the throne of Britain, is currently in New York City. He's a midshipman aboard the HMS Prince George. I believe if we were able to abduct Prince William, that we could force King George and the Parliament to the negotiating table and end this destructive conflict.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
A daring move indeed.
Our intelligence suggests that he frequents the Francis Tavern near the port. This may be an easier location in which to capture Prince William than the ship itself, as it is a 90-gun ship of the line with a crew of 750 officers and men.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay.
Probably the better alternative, sounds like.
Avoid that. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe you're familiar with Mr. Hercules Mulligan. Corporal Lawton here will gate you into his home, and from there you can make a plan to attempt to kidnap the prince.
Okay.
What could
Sounds
go wrong?
pretty straightforward.
Please see my quartermaster if there are any specific resources you need for this mission. And I must once again emphasize, no word of the specific mission must leave your group.
This is not something we'd want to get out of.
Remind myself.
Right. We need to get.
Is there anything that
here.
we would need at the quartermaster? We would gear it up or anything?
Rope, a bag.
Both readily available if you want to bring along some rope and some sort of large canvas bag or similar.
Mm-hmm.
The old sneak up behind him and put the bag over his head. That's the plan.
Don't mess with
Yeah, we just turn him into a mouse and put him in somebody's pocket.
That would work too.
Transforming somebody is a nice trick.
So,
Either way, he's going to get sacked.
make a
Very nice.
Well played, sir. Well played. I'd like you to make I'd like you to make common knowledge rolls to see what you know about Prince William.
Okay.
Is that addressed to everybody?
Anybody who wants information.
Okay.
Okay. Common knowledge.
That's pretty good.
Did that work?
Yeah, so Artemis, you know that Prince William is currently 14 years old. And Clara, you also have some familiarity with the operations of the Royal Navy. So you know that as a midshipman, he is basically a cadet officer. Has some responsibility. He has some men under his command, but would not, under normal circumstances, be trusted with any major responsibilities. You also know that if you do approach him on the ship, that midshipmen are quartered on the lower gun deck, which is 2 decks down from the main deck. So there'd be quite a few people in between any obvious entry point other than maybe a gun port and his personal quarters. It's also kind of a communal sleeping thing for the midshipmen, so it's not like he has a private room. There'd be most likely a bunch of other people in there with him.
Sorry, I just missed on all that dialogue. My headset died. What just happened?
Okay. Just explaining where first Prince William is 14 at this point.
Okay.
And second, his quarters on the ship would be difficult to access except perhaps by going in through a gun port, because he's on the lower gun deck. So there's 2 decks full of sailors and Marines between the normal entry points to the ship and where you get to this guy. And he's in basically a community sleeping area of the other midshipmen, so you're not likely to get him alone either.
Okay.
You kind of have to think that he would be sort of not exactly under guard, but the captain and the senior officers would probably be keeping an eye out for him.
It seems like a pretty safe bet. So with that information in hand, besides the rope in the bag, is there anything anybody else wants to pick up before you go to New York City?
Do we have a sap or blackjack for knocking people out?
Yeah, you can absolutely obtain some of those. Let me see if they have if we already have stats for that. If not, I'll whip something up.
I know I can use a pistol,
Had a little
but it
cage
just
type
seems
of thing.
safer.
Or like if we turn him into a mouse, like a little box or something, where you
That's
don't
true.
kill it, but
Oh,
yeah,
Oh yeah.
like a pet rodent
And
carrying.
we, yeah, and we might also want to get like grenades or something so we can cause a distraction. Because if we can distract one side of the ship, ossify him, and then just parlay him out, whisk him out under the noses of everybody, that would be simpler than a straight up gunfight.
Okay, grenades are a little harder
We
to
want
come
to
by.
get him in a bar, though. Doesn't he frequent a tavern, and we want to get him there?
Yeah, that would be the easiest way, I think. Catch him out in the open.
Yeah.
And is there anything about his reputation that would be helpful?
Well, I mean, he's 14 years old and he's partying in taverns.
Nice.
Okay, so that just sounds like kind of standard stupid.
We should case the place if we have any time and see if we can get any information about what time he frequents, things along those lines.
Yeah, that's easy enough to do.
Okay.
And I guess come to think of it, I'm kind of getting back in the swing of this. As far as the distraction goes, we can always like start a brawl someplace off to the side, or get him involved in a brawl for that matter.
Yeah, it is a bar, so that should be easy.
Absolutely is a bar, yes.
True.
Can I get anything, like, I don't know if I'm wearing any sort of like even like a vest or something that could like take a little bit of a knife wound or something, some sort of armor. Is there any options for that?
Your best bet would be something like a leather coat. It's a little conspicuous because it's not exactly fashionable, but it's certainly not as conspicuous as Clara's breastplate. You could also get a cavalry breastplate, but obviously that's not going to be very sneaky.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go that hard at it, but I don't know. I guess a leather jacket, I'd be fine with that.
It's technically made out of hide.
Hide's fine.
ahead and be conspicuous. I mean, you're hanging out with a tall, young, black woman covered in plate mail.
Well, yeah, the plate mail is
what do
going to
you
stand
want?
out. But a tall black woman in New York City, it's not going to stand out that much.
With plate mail.
Plate mail. Yeah.
As I
Plate
said,
mail.
once you hit the plate mail in, that's not going to be subtle.
Like a 6'4" blonde man, except in heels and a gold lame dress.
Not that conspicuous in modern New York.
That's right.
We're going to a bar, so I don't think we need to try too hard to blend in.
Why is that? I not equip your armor? No, I equipped your armor.
Yeah, I see it at the bottom of my quick access page. Let me see gear.
Yeah, I need to actually give you the armor, though.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. Would Archimedes be coming with us so we have a quick, portal getaway? Or do we need to, maybe turn the
he's
kid
too
into a
valuable
house?
to just hang out, hang out with you. But Washington's arranged for him to open a portal at some specific intervals that Elijah has given a code for. So at certain specific points, he'll open up the portal into Hercules Mulligan's house.
Okay.
We can make a
Typically,
run for it. Okay.
they're between 8 and 16 hours apart, typically. So,
Oh, and remember, I can also teleport people too. I just gained that skill in the last upgrade.
yeah, not nearly as far though.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
out of the bar and half a block away.
Yeah, that is an option. Yeah.
That is definitely an option. Although teleporting the unwilling is a little more challenging.
I have to charge something. I'll be right back.
I'm telling you, the mouse and the mouse cage, we're good.
I love that plan. I like it.
Although I feel like when we teleport, we have to have a slide whistle sound.
So grenades, a little harder to come by if you still want them. You'll need to make a persuasion roll to get the quartermaster to part with those, since you don't have a good explanation of what you need them for.
I'll go ahead and I'll try it. If I fail that, then our distraction is just going to be to start a brawl.
Okay, yeah. So he hands you a heavily padded case with 3 glass spheres filled with black powder and with a fuse sticking out of it. It looks like an old school bombshell, except made of glass.
Oh.
So basically you light it up and you hurl it violently at something and hopefully the glass breaks and then it explodes.
Okay. So I say to the quartermaster, hey, you like juggling?
Very good, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's a terrible idea.
All right, so you are
Just
now
checking to make sure.
you are now in New York at the home of Hercules Mulligan. You visited there before, and you don't know this for certain, but you feel like it's highly probable that Mulligan is involved with the culprit ring. So, what's your plan to, as you put it, ace the place?
We should get comfortable and just question, I don't know, inquire just from people by making conversation as nonchalantly as we can.
Buy
So
a couple of rounds of drinks and be friendly.
in other words, let's drink.
Well, and
All right.
I actually will. I'll get invisible and pace it from outside so I can observe the comings and goings.
Okay, so all of you are at least somewhat known in the sense that you fought in a whole bunch of actions against the British. So there's a chance if you show your faces in the tavern that not a large chance, but it's possible you might be recognized. Especially the
how
more
good were
conspicuous members
paintings
of your
back in the
party.
day? Oh, okay. So I'll hang back. Fine.
Maybe we can wear disguises.
To an extent, but it's going to be pretty tough to disguise either Clara or Pet Noet, especially if Pet Noet insists on not wearing,
Clothes.
Yeah.
well, pants anyway.
All right, so just to make it easy, our more or less conspicuous members will go and question the place for the current setting.
Nubbins is actually at the highest risk. As a Greycoat deserter, he served with all sorts of different British military and naval personnel.
Okay.
So a lot of people have met him personally.
So the snatching thing, when it does happen, let's try to hit him outside of the bar as opposed to in the bar. Maybe we can not have so many people watch it happen, but at least when we come here, we'll inquire about like what time he usually gets here, what he usually does, like how much he drinks, things along those lines.
I got a question about the transformation power, the mouseification power. So if Bob turn himself into a mouse, and then while as a mouse, can he exert that power onto somebody else?
The answer to your first question is no. It's shape change other, so he can only change other people.
Okay. All right.
If he had the shape change power, as well as shape change other, then yes, he could.
Okay. Never mind.
Which, is an option at your next advance, Bob. If you want
I'm thinking, at this point, that's a good one to go for.
Because I had this idea, like I would walk up to the prince and say, "Hey, you want to see a talking mouse?" And then when he held his hand up,
oh right, and then I booped him on the.
I would put a mouse in his hand, and then all of a sudden I got two mice, and then just walked.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a Warner Brothers cartoon, no?
I should write for the movies.
Okay, so Elijah and Artemis are going to the bar. Artemis, give me an invisibility roll at +2.
+2.
Okay, more than good enough.
That's good.
All right.
So you roll on in and in your invisible form here. And here's what you see. And Elijah, you're going in as yourself. You arrive at the tavern. You notice there were, at least a modest number of sailors and Marines on the streets.
Mm.
As you arrive in the tavern here, you notice that it is chock full of sailors with the odd Marine here or there.
All Marines are odd.
Yeah.
Fair point.
I would just hang by the bar. So like right there.
Okay.
Or on the opposite side over here. See if I can hear anything from any of the other tables as well. I'll keep that guy's name on my mind.
You stand out a little bit. There aren't that many civilians in the bar here. And the barkeep sort of walks up to you and gives you the once over. Says, "Do I know you?"
It's like I'll say no, but you're about to. I would like to order a couple drinks. Make them quick. I'm having a bad day.
Right. Cider, whiskey, beer.
I'll take whiskey.
Okay. Not cheap. He's asking a shilling a glass because with the colonial blockade, supplies getting in and out of New York are somewhat constrained, although the blockade isn't super effective.
Okay. I get a whiskey and a beer so I can milk the beer.
Got it. So he...
one scotch, one beer.
Yeah. I take my drink and then I slouch on the table and just kind of pretend like I'm minding my own business and drinking. Okay. I'm going to mind read as well, like the people around me.
Okay. Give me a mind reading roll at +2. You've got plenty of time to concentrate. What are you doing while he's doing this, Artemis?
First of all, I'm circulating to avoid getting stepped on. Do I have a good description of the prince?
Yeah, if nothing else, he's going to be a 14-year-old boy wearing midshipman uniform.
Yeah, so
and they're pretty easily identified. They have these, it's the standard navy blue coat, but they have these big white patches at the collar, which nobody else wears. So they're not hard to pick out in a crowd. But at the moment, all you see are regular sailors and enlisted Marines. No officers in the bar at the moment.
Okay, so I will like kind of case the entire place to see if there are any back rooms, secret doors, plan out an escape route, that kind of thing, while I'm
Okay.
eavesdropping on conversations.
So give me a notice roll.
Sure. I'm also getting a handle on who is the sort of the meanest loudmouth drunk in the place.
Okay. That would be the Marine in the corner. So you don't find any secret doors. There is a door right here, which, based on your extensive knowledge of where things are likely to be, you think that's probably a staircase leading up to the upper floors, possibly down to a basement as well. Although they're not super common in the city right now. Okay, mind reading.
Does this place have like rooms for rent kind of thing? Is this like a pub? Okay, just checking. Thanks.
Yeah. So as you're mind reading around, mostly you're getting complaints about the superior officers, regrets that they don't have more money for gin, complaints about watering down the rum on the ship. But most of these guys seem to be from either the Royal George or one of the other ships in the squadron.
The name of the prince's ship is what? The Royal George.
Sorry, the Prince George. Excuse me. Yes, the Prince George.
Okay.
That is his ship, and that's where these guys are either from that ship or one of the ships in the Prince George's squadron.
Okay. Is the big ugly Marine also from the Prince George?
Well, you don't know because you can't read his mind.
Right. Okay. Fair point.
But
listening to what
Elijah knows that he is. All you can tell from what he's complaining about is that he's from a good-sized ship. He hasn't mentioned the captain by name, but it's clear from the description of how many officers he's talking about that he's not from a small brig or a frigate.
Where is he sitting? In the corner?
Yeah.
Like right here?
Over here?
Okay. No. This guy.
Him.
Okay.
So you hear him being pretty loud and obnoxious. He's not hard to think. Some of these sailors are laughing at him a little bit behind their hands.
Okay. All right. So he's the guy we probably want to talk to, or I'd want to start a conversation with to get some information. I think I'm going to stroll over to him with the beer in hand and sit next to him, probably over here on this side. And then I want to mind control him.
Okay, give me a puppet roll of +2.
Okay.
All right.
All right, and roll.
Would you like to Benny
I
that?
would like to Benny that, please.
Just click the Benny button on there.
Okay. All right. So would I roll again?
Yeah, you can hit the re-roll button.
Like re-roll dice? Okay, I see it.
Okay, so that the power does go off. Are you happy with that 4?
My puppet is a what? What am I failing at?
You're not failing.
It's a 12. Oh no, I can do better. I can do better.
It's a 6 right now with the +2.
Okay, I can do better than that. Let's try one more time.
Ooh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's an 8. He's got to resist that with his spirit.
Okay.
Which is pretty unlikely.
You don't need to see his identification.
All right, so you have control of this guy. What are you going to do with him?
I'm gonna have him greet me as if he knows me, and then we're going to talk in close proximity, drinking, ordering drinks, and then I'm just going to like take all of his information about his ship, who he works for, what his day-to-day is like, and particularly regarding this 14-year-old, we're looking for any information with him and to see if he goes to this bar and what times he usually does.
You start pumping this guy for information, and his buddy at the table says, "Oi, who's this colonial?" Bloody colonials.
Yeah, I'd have him answer that. I'm just his friend Charlie.
Where you know Charlie?
Say,
How do you know a colonial, Ed?
We'll yell for another beer. I'll have him respond that it's complicated and try to brush him off.
How are you supposed to wrap anything complicated around that noggin of yours, Ed?
I'll yell over there. That's the problem. Can't. It's dense. Isn't that right? So can I buy you a beer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll order him one, and then I'll kind of crouch back in with his buddy and talk some more as if we're having our conversation.
Make a stealth roll.
Okay.
While he's doing that, is it apparent to me that he's puppeting this guy?
No.
Okay.
You do, however, make a notice roll, though.
It's not terrible.
The notice roll is, though.
Notice roll's bad. But
I'm going to Benny mine. Damn it.
Oh.
Nope, you don't notice. You don't notice how much attention this conversation is getting.
Oh. Damn it.
But yeah, I'll take the 4.
Tell me Elijah doesn't notice how much attention he's getting.
Oh, thank goodness sailors are somewhat oblivious. Because he's focused in on this guy, trying to pump him for information as quickly as possible.
Okay.
He's not looking at the rest of the room.
Yeah.
Multitask. Come on.
I'm already trying to have the charade that we're drinking socially and talking.
So what you get is that Prince William's watch schedule gives him the evening off every third day. This guy's actually been his escort once or twice. That there are always at least 2 Marines with him wherever he goes, including to the tavern.
Perfect.
And that the next evening where this will be happening is tomorrow.
Okay. I would confirm also the route that he takes from what harbor or whatever.
There's a straight shot up one of the avenues or one of the numbered streets from the pier to this tavern. So it's a pretty simple route. It's a modest distance. It's about 500 yards.
I'm thinking we could bump into him walking on the way to this place, through one of the alleyways.
Yeah, blackjack the Marines and shape change him and
or just shape change him and cause a distraction. But let's go for that. All right, I'm gonna not take too long here because I know this will cause attention at some point. I'll get up and still act like in a friendly drunken embrace and then kind of hobble out the door.
Okay. So this guy's going to remember that this guy who wasn't his friend came up and convinced him he was his friend.
That's fine.
So,
I'm not coming back.
Which, just saying, he might be a little concerned about what had just happened.
Oh yeah.
We don't want him to.
Again, the fall would be the drinking. I at this point would have had him several drinks into it.
He was already pretty. Okay, so you got him really drunk.
So he get him blackout drunk. Yeah.
So he might not mention it to anybody.
Yeah. That's what I'm.
So you get out on the street here, you see there's a fair amount of foot traffic going through here, both civilians and sailors and Marines. So it's not a quiet thoroughfare where you could just ambush him when nobody else was around.
Okay, walking on let's walk the path from this place to how he gets here, essentially, and see if
it basically gets busier and busier the closer you get to the pier.
Okay. The tavern had a bathroom, I assume.
No,
No.
it had an alley.
Yep.
An
That might
alley
be
and an
okay.
All to
outhouse.
piss against. Got it.
Yep.
Or you can make a scene in the bar, but I couldn't have anything to do with it. I'm already being in there.
Oh, it depends. If the guy doesn't remember anything weird about you,
Yeah.
and nobody else might remember anything notable, so it might be fine.
Yeah. Might be risky though. All right, we'll just go convene at this point and then talk about our next plan. All right, do you guys have any preferences on how we approach the situation? We want to wait till he gets in the bar and then accost him, or not accost him, but come up on him and then try to snatch him. Maybe cause a diversion in the bar, or maybe we hit him beforehand.
I think if he's got two Marines with him, we know the route. We could jump him. We could take the two Marines, especially as we're just trying to mousify the prince. I think we could take him in the street. Might be better in the bar. We'd have every redcoat there jumping to his defense.
Right.
What if we do it when he's leaving? Because then he'll be a little more drunk.
Can't we figure out a way to get him to come with us with a little privacy? Like, isn't there a pretty girl we can wangle to help us for a day kind of thing?
There, you could probably find someone you could suborn for that purpose.
That would be what a
coercion would be easier. And if you're a 14-year-old boy and it's a pretty woman, that that would be an excuse for him to go off on his own and for him to tell people, like, don't follow me. I got stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an idea.
So somebody get some coins and find a willing young lady.
So this is going to be relatively easy, but it's going to be a networking task. You're going to have to kind of work the streets a little bit here and figure out who you might be able to trust.
Yeah.
To do the job.
I mean, Hercules Mulligan.
But surely Hercules
Mulligan. Well, that's why you're going to get a bonus. That's why you're going to get a bonus to the networking. But with that said, you've got two options for how to network. Do it the nice way with persuasion, in which case you spread a little more money around in order to find someone appropriate, or you can do it with your fists using intimidation.
I would go with persuasion.
Persuasion.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so give me persuasion rolls at +3 then as you're working the streets.
+3. I've got. How do I add +3 on that?
You needn't bother.
Sorry.
Wow.
I guess Elijah spent some time in New York. You find the perfect young woman that you think would be exactly what a typical prince of the realm would be interested in going into an alley with.
Nice.
And
let's not do an alley. Let's do someplace a little bit more, appropriate. Someplace where we could whisk him away quickly and quietly, and nobody would see.
So, what do you have in mind?
Room upstairs.
I bet he'd go for the alley. He wants to have a story to tell his friends.
That's a rude thing to do to a lady.
Well, okay, she's being paid.
This lady is accustomed to alleys. That's all I'm going to say.
And yet,
plus
one must have our standards.
Upstairs room is definitely a possibility. You're guessing that's probably something that occurs in the upstairs room at this sort of tavern.
I would imagine, and then she would have, like, we give her a little extra coin and say, hey, we're planning a little surprise for him. Just bring him upstairs, and then you get the money, and you can just go out the back. Thank you very much.
She's a sympathizer, so she's on board with helping out the
Even
revolution.
better.
Yeah,
even better.
Okay. Weapons waiting
You
there.
kind of think that she might be part of Hercules' spy network, even as somebody who can keep tabs on the British, sort of up close and personal, as it were.
Nice.
Even more reason to treat her courteously, don't you think?
Fair enough.
Sure.
All right. So
go.
who's going to be where, and how are you going to get there? Meaning, okay, so you're going to bring up to an upstairs room. So who's going to be in the room, and how are you going to get there? And if you're not in the room, where are you going to be?
Okay, I'm going to be in the room. I'm going to do a second story man move, and I'm going to climb the outside to get up in through a window.
Yeah, although you're invisible, so you could probably just walk upstairs whenever somebody opens the door.
Or I can just walk through the door whenever somebody opens. Whatever.
Probably be near a back door or front door or wherever somebody might be trying to escape.
As near as you can tell,
kind of
there's not a back door.
Okay.
Building code was not a thing. There's a double door in the front, and then you don't from what Artemis and
Then
Elijah
windows?
told you, definitely windows.
Okay.
There's windows
Low
in the front and
windows.
the back. Yeah.
Okay.
There's windows in the front and the back on both the first, second, and third floors. The sides are so close to other buildings that they don't have windows, but there is a narrow alley in between.
I'm going to keep watch outside. I think it'd be too risky for me to go in.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide in the alley facing the window, watching from outside.
Well, if it's mouse plan, you need to be in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but how am I gonna sneak in without them seeing me?
I can
Why don't
teleport
I
you.
go in and I'll be kind of loud and brash and I'll flirt with men and be just kind of bizarre. Behave in an outlandish way. I'll figure out.
The young
It'd
lady
just
whose
be a
name,
distraction myself.
the young lady whose name is Alice, says that she could easily, she believes, with a little tip for the barman, she could easily get Nubbins upstairs on her arm.
Okay.
Oh, well then.
Assuming he wasn't recognized, of course, by any of these sailors and Marines.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off the kilt and wear pants very reluctantly.
We appreciate your sacrifice.
Good.
And you never took ship on the Prince George, but that doesn't mean there might not be somebody in there who knows you.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe like I'll put on an eye patch, like I might shave my beard a little bit, like
The simple eye patch.
yeah, some kind of like slight disguise to look a little different and unusual, and like just some guy that's making out with the lady.
Okay, so I'm just going to treat this roof as upstairs. So we have Artemis, Nubbins, and the young lady are starting out on the second floor. Pet Knowit is watching the back, where he's kind of out of sight. And Clara, you're in the bar proper making a ruckus.
That's right.
Okay, so I would like stealth rolls from both Clara and Nubbins to pull off this performance.
Stealth rolls? Okay.
Sorry, performance rolls, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, just checking.
All right. Performance. Let's see. Performance.
Is that just an unskilled
Yeah,
whatever?
it is an unskilled roll.
Okay. That would be why I can't. Okay.
Where is that again?
Should be an unskilled at the bottom of your skill list.
I've got untrained agility.
Untrained, yeah,
doesn't
that's
sound-
it.
Okay. I don't know. I do feel like to make a ruckus at a bar can't be that hard.
So it's not whether you
but
make a ruckus at the bar, because you absolutely make a ruckus at the bar. It's whether or not they figure out that there's something suspicious about it.
I might want to Benny that. Did I just roll a 2, I think?
You did roll a 2.
Oh, that seems rather poor.
That's pretty bad.
Oh, what a weird. Oh, did I roll again with that?
Yes, you did, and you got another 2.
Okay. right, we'll try again.
That's a little better. That's a
Yeah.
3. I'm going to give you a +1 because it isn't that hard to start a ruckus in a bar.
Thank you. I mean, just being drunk at a bar, I should be obnoxious enough. I think.
Oh.
So they're starting to get suspicious. And you can kind of tell that when no, you made it upstairs okay.
Okay. Never mind.
But they're starting to get suspicious of Clara when the young lady comes downstairs. And she has a short conversation with the prince that you can't really hear because you're making a ruckus. And there's some cheering and hollering from the Marines. And then he goes upstairs. And
Okay. I mean, knowing me, I'm probably thinking that everything's hunky dory.
Fair enough.
Or knowing my character.
I would like you to make a notice roll.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're like, whatever, nothing, no big deal. Okay, so as the prince comes into the room, Nubbins, please make a fighting roll at +2.
All right, yeah, I'm going to yell. So as she's coming in with him, I'm going to yell, you, sort of sarcastically, and yeah. So what am I rolling again?
Fighting +2.
Fighting +2. All right.
That's to tap him as he comes through the door, which you do.
Sweet.
And then I would like a shape change other roll.
Okay.
Ooh, nice sound effect.
What was that?
That was his shape change power.
What was the sound
Nice.
effect?
Ooh.
Very cool.
All right, so he converts into a mouse. The mouse is kind of somewhat trapped under the woolen clothes the woolen coat he was wearing.
Okay, I get ready to.
The young lady shrieks just a little bit. Make an athletics roll to scoop up the mouse.
Okay.
Roll good.
Ooh.
20 good enough. So you've scooped up the mouse. You've put the mouse into the container you had prepared for this purpose, which means that it's now an invisible mouse in a container, and you can make your way back down, as can another.
Oh, okay, so being invisible, this shouldn't be that too much of a problem to go down. Knowing what I do about the ruckus that's downstairs, should I go out the window? Is there a window in the room?
There are windows in the room, yes. Well, you don't know about the ruckus downstairs. You don't know how bad it's gotten.
Okay, well, then I'll just go downstairs and assume that I can just sort of sashay invisibly through the room. I say, good work, Nubbins. I got him from here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, you can sashay invisibly through the room, but you see the crowd getting increasingly hostile towards Clara.
Oh boy.
Okay. So you
have your mission. What are you doing?
I do. So I get to the door of the tavern, starting to escape, and as I'm going by Clara, I tell her, they're on to you. Get out of here.
Okay, you have to divert a little bit to do that because she's not the direct line.
Okay.
But make a stealth roll for how well you can deliver that message without being noticeable. I'll give you a +1 because she's making a ruckus. Okay, so Clara, you now know that they are on. You now got that message. They're on to you. What do you do?
So for me, having delivered that message, I'm now hustling out the door with the prince.
Yeah.
Okay. So I shake my head, look at a clock, and if there isn't one, I say, I'll ask loudly, what time is it? And regardless of what the answer is, I gotta go. Out the door I go.
Okay, I'll allow it. You beat a retreat before it gets too bad. Okay, Nubbins, that just leaves you upstairs with the young lady.
Second floor. Yeah, I kind of want to just pretend I'm stumbling drunk down the stairs as if I want to go into the bar to get more beer, but instead I'm going to ask her to sort of play along and be like, no, you're too drunk. That's silly. Let's go outside for a fresh walk. And like she's going to sort of like drunk stumble me out.
Well, she does not want to come downstairs because then people might wonder if the prince was already finished with her.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. In that case, yeah, I guess I'll try to stealth.
Or you could go out a window.
Yeah. You're not actually drunk.
Window. Okay.
So make an athletics roll to climb down.
Hey. Oh, not bad. Okay.
You gracefully waft down to the ground next to Pet Noet. Notice that he's still not wearing pants, and you all
usually don't either.
You all beat a hasty retreat and have successfully kidnapped Prince William of Hanover.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
Maybe if Washington had had superheroes, he would have gone through with the plan, but he never actually put it into action.
Nice.
But there was a plan to do exactly what you guys just did. Yep.
Nice.
Wow. Well done, team.
All right. That's where we'll leave it for this week. Thanks, everybody. You can follow Happy Monster Press on Facebook as Happy Monster Press, at our website, happymonsterpress.com, Twitter as Happy Monster PRS, or follow the podcast on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iTunes, or Google Play Music. The Happy Monster Cast is part of the Savage Worlds Media Network. This game references the Savage Worlds game system available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at www.peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings and unique characters, locations, and characters' logos and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All other content is the intellectual property of Happy Monster Press. Background music is Ice Cold by Jason Shaw.
Oh, for sure.